Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is just a pleasure to see you all here on today. Welcome to St. Paul, to our Outreach and Empowerment Ministry Community Awareness Program. It's good to see you in the house on today. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to let us know. Everyone is wearing the gold and black. We're here to assist you. So make yourself at home and have a good time. I'm excited that we're going to be having this awareness. So if you don't mind, we're going to all stand and we're going to open up the program by singing the selection, Lift Him Up. How to reach the masses, men of every word, for an answer, Jesus gave the key. And if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. Lift him up, lift him up, till he speaks from eternity. And if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. Thank you so very much. And at this time, we will have a prayer by Brother James Bryan.
Like to say good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Dear God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for allowing us to come out here this morning. And we thank you for waking us up, looking over us this morning. And Lord, we thank you for the many blessings that you have restored upon us. And Father, we ask you to touch those people who wanted to come, but wasn't able to come, Father. So Lord, we know that there's so many sicknesses going on in this world, Father. And we pray that you will touch them, guide them, and direct them, Father.
Yes,
We know all healing is in your hands, Father, and we thank you. So Lord, we ask you to go with this program today, oh Lord. We thank you for the people who came out and give us information on health and living a better life, oh
And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. And straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh, and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. He also had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strewn. And I was afraid, and I went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thus wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gathered where I had not strewn. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money into the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which has 10 talents. For unto every one that has shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that has not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I have read scripture today, Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. God bless you for listening and hearing the word.
Amen. Good morning, St. Paul. Let me try this again. Mic on. Good morning, St. Paul. Good morning. Good morning, St. Paul. Good morning. We're going to make everyone welcome this morning to St. Paul. Good morning, and I greet you this morning in the joy of just knowing Jesus. Today, we, OEM, we're happy to present today a workshop or a seminar that we pray that each of you will enjoy and will gain something to take away with you that will help you moving forward. Of the many awarenesses found in April, today we have chosen stress awareness. Stress Awareness Month has been recognized every this year, it seems particularly important. We all experience stress, yet we may experience it in different ways. So today we have invited two presenters, and one is on the way, to help us to learn how to cope with our stress and find healthy ways to deal with these situations as we go along towards living a healthy and positive lifestyle. And with that said, we have two presenters today who will help us recognize the warning signs and symptoms associated with stress, give us the necessary tools to cope with stress, or seek the proper care needed to help reduce stressful feelings and symptoms. And last but not least, share basic techniques to help us live a stress-free life. So today, our first presenter will be presented by none other than Catherine Ling, the Director of Community Development with Little River Medical Center. And I'm so thankful to Sister Deborah Young, who after partnering with Little River Medical, she asked us if we would like to utilize your services today. So we do thank you for coming, and now we will give you Catherine. Thank you.
Well, it certainly does a heart good to be with you all on a Saturday morning. Like just said, my name is Catherine Lane. I'm the Director of Community Development over at Little River Medical Center. And I have to say, your beautiful church space reminds me so much of the church that I was raised in
a difference. Apologies. So the uncertainties like that can cause some stress and anxiety. There are some coping strategies though. They're adaptive, there are some resolution. So the adaptive ones are the mindfulness skills, grounding techniques, meditation, finding balance. Resolution being the problem solving, solution focused thinking, and I will get into these more so throughout this seminar. Going into the adaptive, like the problem solving, cognitive distortion. So the ways in which we think or respond to stress. Do we tend to catastrophize? Do we think in black or white terms? Do we discount the positive? Do we jump to conclusions? Do we fortune tell events? Meaning, when something stressful happens, do we automatically go to a negative place just with our thoughts? If so, that can make something more stressful, thereby increasing those stress hormones, that cortisol. So, I'm gonna ask y'all, I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. The sentence I have right here, there is no way I did that well during the company review. This has to be a mistake. Which thinking error do you think that one belongs to? Catastrophizing, black or white thinking, discounting the positive, jumping to conclusions, or fortune telling?
Discounting the positive.
Yeah, you guys know your stuff. Well done. I'm impressed. So with that mindset, how do you think that could create something that could be a positive experience or maybe something not so stressful and create more stress? How do you think having that mindset, that negative thinking, how do you think that could impact something like that and turn it into a more stressful experience? Exactly. Mm-hmm. Very good. You are, bro. I think she's a social worker. So I'm gonna ask you, have you heard of the CBT triangle? No? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go back to that that solution-focused, that adaptive response to stressful life events. CBT emphasizes the relationship between our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. Our thoughts change the way we feel, which subsequently changes the way we act, which then influences our thoughts. So why is this important in stress management? Negative self-talk. Again, going back to that negative mindset. This refers to that inner voice making critical, negative, or punishing comments. These are pessimistic, mean-spirited, or unfairly critical thoughts. Going back to that sentence, there is no way I did that well during the company review. This has to be a mistake. So identifying that thought could make us feel and behave unworthy, sad, apathetic, therefore being withdrawn within our job, within our coworkers. Creating a new thought within that CBT triangle, so that CBT reframing, the new thought could be, wow, I was not expecting this. I am sure the review process is stringent, and I am a hard worker, so I'm going to take this and run with it. The cognitive restructuring process is a technique that has been successful in helping people change the way they think, When used for stress management, the goal is to replace the stress-producing thought. The first key in this is to identify the thought that is causing the most stress. After doing that, you're going to challenge that thought with evidence. So going back to that sentence stem, I could not have done that well. If you challenge that with, I am a hard worker. I turn everything in on time. I do what I'm asked. If you examine the evidence, then there is a possibility you did well, right? Yeah. Creating that alternative thought then will be fairly easy. And the concept is to turn it into a neutral and realistic thought. It doesn't have to be this completely opposite, perfect, flowery thought where I'm the best. Just, I work hard. I'm sure I did well. Another important part of stress management is managing your emotions. So identifying and regulating these emotions. Am I afraid, frustrated, nervous? Also validating your feelings and experiences, because it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel stressed. Identifying emotions include the underlying emotion, which a lot of us tend to miss. Anger is often secondary. We often want to intellectualize our emotions so we don't have to feel them. Anyone ever experienced that one, or is it just me? Right, yeah. So regulating our emotions when we feel them, we can get into our bodies and understand our sensation. So if we sit with ourselves, is our stomach hurting? Is our head hurting? Is this how stress is coming out? What can we do to help alleviate those symptoms? We can calm our nervous system by taking a cold shower or holding an ice cube in our hand. We can also change the why questions to what questions. Oftentimes, in stressful situations, we think, why is this happening to me? Why did I deserve this? Changing those questions to, what are my choices right now? What tools do I have available? Or what support system or support person can I lean on to get me through this experience? Something else we can do to alleviate or manage stress is managing time. This sounds great in theory. This is difficult. I'll be the first to say it. I have found that it is easiest for me to write down a list of priorities. All the things that need to be done, and then I categorize it by what absolutely has to be accomplished, and then what I would like to get done, and then work on it that way. So as you can see, low to high urgency of importance. So going down the to-do list, pay mortgage, that's pretty important. We want to tackle that first, maybe before mopping the floors, right? So we can write down all of our tasks, again, determine which ones are truly important, and then sticking to that schedule. Tackling the most intense or high effort tasks first, focusing on the tasks at a time. I try to multitask, thinking I'm gonna get it all done much faster. It doesn't, yeah, I see you shaking your head. It doesn't work that way. Also, acknowledging what you can realistically get done and what you can't within that time frame.
What if you think is at the top prioritizing, but it seemed like all of them were so very important, and then when I felt like I didn't get to
Yeah. No, it's not a good feeling, and sometimes there is too much on our plate. So, using our support system, can we have someone help us? Can we assign a family member or a friend, if they're willing, to help out? And going into that urgency and importance low to high, everything does feel important. But perhaps if we put it on a time frame, if something needs absolutely concretely completed today versus within the next week, then we focus on the one that needs done today. But also letting our people help us. They may not do it the way we want them to do it, but it gets done, right? So dealing with stressful situations, using effective communication. So I know I see so many women in here. All of y'all were born and raised in the South, right? Yep, okay. Assertiveness is not something that I know I was raised with. What about y'all? Okay. So that is something that I have learned to, I don't want to say adapt. I have learned to embrace it and use it as I have gotten older. Assertiveness at first felt very aggressive, but there is a very big difference. Assertiveness allows us to express our feelings, our needs, our wants clearly, directly, while also respecting the needs and wants of others. So that's the difference between aggressive and assertive communication. Aggressive is like, no, I don't care what y'all need. So there is that room for both. But using assertiveness when dealing with a stressful situation allows us to state our concerns, state our feelings, propose a solution, describe how the solution could benefit the other person as well. So assertive people also tend to have fewer conflicts. As such, this translates into less stress in daily interactions with others and their lives, and this also helps with stress management and leads to a healthier body. Studies have also found that assertiveness is positively associated with higher self-esteem. So the more assertive you are, the better you tend to think of yourself. Something that is also incredibly important, not with just stress management, but also with daily life, self-care, and I cannot stand up here and talk about this enough. Self-care applies to everything: physical self-care, social self-care, mental self-care, spiritual self-care, emotional self-care. These are the ways in which we take the time to ensure we are taking care of ourselves to the fullest so we can continue to take care of our children, our extended families, our husbands, our wives, our siblings, our friends, our neighbors. We also take care of ourselves, right? So physical care, getting adequate sleep, eating a well-balanced diet, getting enough exercise. Social, spending time with friends and family, making sure you carve time out of your busy schedule to attend that girls' brunch every month. Mental self-care, engaging in activities that mentally stimulate you. Spiritual self-care, questioning yourself about life and your lived experiences, having those conversations with those that are important to you. Engaging in spiritual practices that you find fulfilling. Emotional self-care, processing emotions in healthy ways, and incorporating activities that help you recharge. Has anyone found that when they didn't take the time for themselves, it was so much harder to take care of others. What about just dealing with day-to-day activities of life? So anyone have any fun ideas for self-care? I personally love getting my nails done, pedicures, spa days, you know? But what about some other ideas? Massage. Yeah. Girl trips. Go shopping, retail therapy. I don't know. I might be a good rebel. Mhm. Mhm. I could not agree with you more. All right, so that is the conclusion. I feel like I rushed through it, but I covered all the things. So does anyone have any questions or want me to elaborate on anything else? Yes, ma'am.
It's not a question, but I found a problem with crossing bridges lately. I never had that fear before, and during COVID, when we all stayed in and didn't go out, didn't drive around much, but then when that was over and I started to cross a bridge, all of a sudden I realized it's a bridge I'm crossing, and I started to get nervous. I slowed down, got in the middle. I just had this fear of crossing the bridge. And I never had that fear before, and I'm trying to figure what happened now that I have this fear. And it's not like every bridge, because some bridges I can cross no problem, but that particular one bothers me.
Which bridge in particular?
Well, I don't want everybody else to have the same fear that I have, but when I'm going 31, and then I go to get on 22 going towards North Myrtle Beach or Myrtle Beach, that one, that's the one that gives me anxiety.
It's called the Heebie-Jeebie Bridge. It's the Heebie-Jeebie Bridge.
Well, to me, it just doesn't have enough security on the sides, and I just fear going over that bridge now. And as a matter of fact, I passed the bridge one day, went down, turned around, came back. That's how bad it bothered me.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. So, we can go over some mindfulness, some grounding techniques to help us prior to getting in the car or getting to that bridge. But I think something that could also be incredibly helpful is doing that sentence restructure, that CBT reframing skill. Go back to that. Yes, I got it. I gotta find it. Gotta find that triangle. There we go. So the thought is fear. So I want you to think more so about what that fear is, and you don't have to share it with us, whether it's it moving or what have you. Then I want you to take a few minutes to examine the evidence. Is there any validity to that thought you have, that fear? And then I want you to construct a new thought. Again, very neutral, very realistic. It doesn't have to be, nothing will ever happen on a bridge to any living person in the world. That's unrealistic, right? And that's not helpful. Something realistic and neutral. Hmm?
I just have I guess a comment about the cognitive triangle and the dealing with stressors. As a mom to a Gen Zer, I guess what they're called now, the 20-year-olds, I'm trying to learn how to not pass on those, how do I say, did, and my parents' generation may have done. I'm finding that I'm respecting it more. I'm respecting the young adults and how they are approaching life, and finding jobs that are not stressful. Like, I thought working from home, full-time job, I'm like, y'all not gonna make no money like that, but they're getting paid with really good salaries. And I had a conversation with my young adult, and this is the conversation we're having about there's changes, and how does that affect their lives? It doesn't make them soft, I don't think. It's just they're now focusing more on what we're talking about, self-care. And I'm learning that. I'm learning how that looks, and I respect it. I get it. I'm getting it.
That's awesome. So what you're learning from your 20-year-old, are you applying at home?
I'm learning how to do that now. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. It's different.
It is, it's hard.
But I'm getting it. I understand it. And it's good. It's a good thing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that, and maybe you can help me. When it comes to creating boundary lines, I think that I don't have stress personally, but I do have stress. Because what I do is I find myself that I split myself. My stress is for other people. Say for instance, this morning, someone called me at the last minute, can you do this for me? Well, I knew I had to be here at a certain time, but it's hard for me to say no. So I think I carry the cares and the worries of other, family members, sometimes friends, a lot of times too. But it's hard to say no when someone says, I need to pick you up.
Yeah.
So their stress becomes my stress.
Boundaries are incredibly difficult, especially when we are not used to creating them, but what is most difficult is maintaining them. When we are so used to always saying yes. I found that saying yes often brings, a sense of purpose. I'm helpful. I like helping others. But often burning the candle at both ends, right? Like you were just describing, you can't be at two places at once. But knowing your limits and knowing what you can and cannot realistically do. So I think the most important question to ask is what would be the worst thing to happen if you were to tell that friend, I'm sorry, but I can't right now?
I think your point is well taken.
Is the fear of that person being angry with you? Or being upset that you said no?
I think probably it's not so much the fear of the individual being angry or people being angry with me, but if I say no, will they not be able to get what they need?
Yeah.
So a lot of times I may put other people's needs ahead of my own.
So I think maybe for right now, finding a middle ground, saying something like, this sounds really important. I do have a prior obligation. I should be done around 2 p.m. Is it okay if I call you, and if I can help you then, I'm more than happy to. That way both of your needs are met and you're not sitting here sweating about it. Is that realistic?
Oh, it's realistic.
Okay.
It's just putting it into action.
Yeah, and that's always the hardest part. It's always the hardest part, putting it into action. It's easy to stand up here and tell you how to do it and even tell myself how to do things. Doing it is always another ballgame. Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am. So that is, I was at work. Just all day. Yeah, it does, It's really good for our nervous system, so it immediately sends a signal to decrease our heart rate and our, yeah. So the next time you find yourself in a situation, just hold on to some ice.
Mother, when his son takes a ice cold shower, this is very stressful. He said, Mom, you gotta try it. He said, once you get through, you feel like, wow.
Mhm.
No.
You know,
I love that hot water on me.
I have,
He takes that cold shower all the, even in the winter. He takes a
I have also heard that after a hot shower, if you take like a 30-second cold shower, like blast, if you will, it decreases stress, it increases metabolism, it increases your energy. It does all sorts of wonderful things. And I hear you, it does not sound fun, especially in the morning when your house has not warmed up yet. But I will try it if you'll try it.
I promise you I will not.
Well, I still try it.
But I did tell him if he give me $100. And he hadn't done that yet, so.
Tell your son there's a place in Myrtle Beach now that you go from saunas and the hot tubs into the cold plunge ice pools. And that is when you think about the younger generation. There's a lot of like college age students. They were offering specials because Coastal had their finals coming up last week, and they were offering those kids. And when my kids are like, "Let's do it," I'm like, "Yeah." But I want to get into ice. That's how the
Yeah, it doesn't sound pleasant. It really does not. But you know, the benefits, they sound nice. I could use a higher metabolism at the very least.
One more question. So once you've reached all your stress levels and you kind of came down off of them, they kind of passed, where I'm at now, I had a very, very, very stressful week. And so I'm thankful to the Lord, I made it through the week, and I kind of, helped get where I need to be. But now I just feel something, I don't know how to get, I have no, I feel like I should be feeling more than what I'm feeling, because I was tired.
Yeah.
Like I got through it, but did I get through it?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it sounds. No, that sounds to me like the cortisol, just what happens to your body during stress. So going back to that balanced diet, exercise, and again, I know it's so easy to stand up here and say, do these things, you'll feel better. But doing one little thing each day will make a big impact. So even if you go home and you take a 30-second cold shower. Yeah, I bet it'll be quick, 15 seconds. But I'm willing to bet you'll find that boost of energy you're looking. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. We do have some handouts that have coping strategies, that have lots of information that is in this presentation for you to take home and have handy, just so you can have it when you need it or want it. Okay? All right. Thank you, guys.
Now, I'm sure from that presentation, let's give Lindsay another hand. And I'm sure from her presentation this morning that we will all leave empowered to do a little better about handling our stress and not allowing it to get up here, taking care of it before it rises. So Lindsay gave us some healthy tips concerning health care, from our physical, social, mental, spiritual, as well as our emotional. And one thing she said too that stood out in the presentation was that we need to get enough sleep, eat a balanced diet, and get enough exercise. Movement is important. And it is for that reason our next presenter, and I left my paper over here. Our next presenter will be none other than the one that you see running around looking as healthy and fit as she can be, and that is Angela Gore. Angela has been in Little River for 30 years. She's married, happily married to Mr. Milton Gore, and he's the one who she said who brought her to this area. They have 4 children and 4 grands. She recently retired from Horry County Schools and found a passion in exercising over 20 years ago. That's why she looks so good today. She started 20 years ago. It used to be that she was doing it for herself. It has become now that she does it to be able to enjoy her grandchildren. And I'm sure grandparents, you can identify with that. You have to be healthy and fit to keep up with the grands. Her favorite quote is, "Pay the farm now or pay the pharmacy later." And I like her email address, and it is youknowyourgoals@gmail.com if you ever want to contact her. So it is with my happy pleasure that I present to some and introduce to others Angela Gore, who will come now to share with us basic techniques on being healthy, staying healthy, and looking healthy. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Talk about stress. Oh my gosh. Actually, I was running late. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning. That's about what time I wake up every morning. Actually, about 5. But for some reason, I had on my calendar 11 o'clock. So when I finished exercising this morning with my group, I left home and I went to walk on the beach. And I met some people and I was just talking. And I left my phone in the car. So I text before I got out of the car, let me make sure I got my time. But she didn't reply back. I got out of the car. It's 11. It's on my calendar. Met some people. So on my way here, I was like, oh my gosh, stress. But you know what? I put it all behind me. I said, God had me where I was supposed to be at that time because I met 2 ladies that I was able to kind of minister to and help out. So I'm okay. That stress it just kind of left me. Thank you for that introduction. She says I look good. I thank God that He allowed me to be able to get back to exercising because I was a principal at Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was a principal for 5 years at Lawrence Elementary. I was an AP. Actually, when I went into the AP job, that was going to be my career. I was going to retire as an AP. Well, my principal that I worked under, he was grooming me, and he pushed me into it. And I went into it. I said I'd do anything for 5 years. Well, after 5 years, I had gained like 40 pounds because I couldn't do what I needed to do for myself. And I made a promise to God. We had a Sunday school lesson a few weeks ago about promises and having faith. And I made a promise to God that if He allowed me to come out of that career, I would take care of myself again. And I did. I had probably exercised every day since I stopped that, or probably before I stopped that. But because when I knew I was going back to the AP role, I was like, okay, that's somebody else's job. I could take it a little easier. But I probably have not missed a day of exercising, maybe I would say 20 days in 5 years, because exercise is my coffee. It gets me going. When I don't, and actually this week, and I feel like this is one reason I was kind of off today. This week, they called me to sub at PD Yes, I got out of it, but I moved back home and he was in Andrews when I was in college and he would walk. So I would get up in the morning and I would walk with him, in my 20s. Well, now he's 85 years old and he gets up every morning and rides his bike 5 miles. We actually, got together because we know that he's getting older and wears a helmet, he has, lights on the back and he wears a, but we were concerned that, he might get hurt. My cousin, which is his granddaughter, we have a Peloton group, and we ride the Peloton and we make these challenges, but when she comes to South Carolina and stays with her grandparents, she got a Peloton. Well, we were kind of hoping that he would start using that because we want him to be safe. Well, that's not his cup of tea, but he's staying safe. But I really believe that he's having such a good old age because he's moving. My grandmother lived until she was 97. He says that I'm going to do better than him because I started earlier. As far as the movement, find a group of women and walk. And if you want to, if you're an early riser and you want to get up and do backyard boot camp, you don't have to do what we're doing when we're doing burpees and going down and jumping up. You just get up and move. When we're doing that for 30 seconds, just get up and move, touch the ground. When we're doing jumping jacks, you can modify those jumping jacks. Just get that heart pumping because the heart is a muscle also, and if you don't exercise that muscle is going to deteriorate. You're going to have all sorts of other issues that are going to come along because of that. One thing that I've learned about movement, and it's not about the way we look all the time, but our circumference around our waistline is indicative of how hard your heart is having to work when it's resting. So, I say that to say, we do want, we do kind of want to shape, waistline and all. But when you look at your waistline, I look at my waistline now when I sit down, and yes, I do have some, I've got, it's there. May not always see it. No, I don't have a Spanx on or anything, but it's there. But when I look at my waistline, when I sit down and it floats over, I'm like, okay, that heart's, okay. How many more pumps do I have to get to get that heart attack? And that's what I'm thinking about as far as that waistline, because that is something that I have learned that contributes to heart disease and heart attacks. So pay attention to your waistline. Eating is important. She talked about that, nutrition. I didn't start off being a label reader, and I thank God that my daughter has taught her children to eat different things. I never ate blueberries. She never ate blueberries, avocado. Well, her babies, they were eating avocado. That was like their first food that they were, using the spoon to spoon out. I was like, avocado? Guess what I eat almost every day now? Avocado. Just because I saw her firstborn, Charles, eating it, I'm like, okay, well, let me try this. Now, when they come to Grandma Angela's house, we do things different. I kind of let them, if they want to have ice cream for breakfast and have a backwards day, I let them have it. But I've learned how to make ice cream. I've learned how to make ice cream with a frozen banana, Greek yogurt. You can flavor it with chocolate. Sometimes I use chocolate chips in the blender, or the cocoa powder. And it tastes just like chocolate ice cream. So sometimes I'll switch up with that, but because her children doesn't get those things a lot in Denver, when they come, I kind of, I introduce them to the bag and they love it, but that's because I'm Grandma Angela. Another thing with why I do this, my grandchildren, I love them. I love going outside and playing with them. I love swimming with them. When we bought our house, I wanted a pool, and I thought I wanted the pool for me, but I hardly ever get in it anymore. But when grandkids come in the summer, which they're going to be here in July, pray for us because they're going to be here for a play Hot Wheels. Now, this floor feels good. They have hardwood floors. I said, Charles, y'all gotta give me some knee pads. And moving is important. I don't know how many of you have, young grandchildren, but getting down because I want them to remember me like I remember my grandparents. And I remember being out in the garden with my grandmother. I want those really good memories. And I'm doing it now while they're young because as they get older, they don't visit as often because they have their own lives. So I'm trying to create all these memories, and my husband looks at me and rolls his eyes and says, Papa G is not like me. Papa G would sit down, but Grandma Angela, when they come to Grandma Angela, it's all about Grandma Angela. They call it my camp, my summer camp. But what I want you to know is that I am available. If you want a walking partner, especially now that I'm retired, because this is all I trained my life to do, is to be retired. And I promise you, it is the best feeling. It is so good to just decide what I want to do, when I want to do it. I look at the weather app to see whether I'm going to go out that day. Sometimes my car doesn't move, and I'm like, ooh, I didn't go anywhere today, other than, outside walking, and especially in the spring. But if you are interested in, doing the 5:30 workouts, you don't have to leave your home. You don't have to have any equipment. You just log on to the Google Meet. I can show you how to do that because that's a mental thing. She mentioned mental exercises. When my phone updates, I get so mad because it changes. And that's a mental thing that you have to do as far as the technology. And when it happens, I'm my grandchildren. I'm so proud of my daughter. She has become a fitness coach, and she already sees her boys following and doing the things that she's doing to be healthy, and she's teaching them how to eat healthier. Reading your labels on your foods. What I said my favorite quote is, pay the farm now or the pharmacy later. If you can't understand what the label says with all the extra stuff in it, it's probably not the best for you. Anything in a bag or a box is probably not the best for you. So read your labels. If it has a lot of those extra ingredients, and if it starts with extra ingredients, if the first ingredient is something you can't read, it's probably not good for you. If you're interested in finding out about how to food prep, or you guys know where to find me. You know my email. Just email me. You know your goals at gmail.com. I am more than willing to help. Now that I have time, I don't mind coming to homes and helping. I used to food prep for people, but I don't like doing that. I want to teach people how to do it so that it can become a lifelong thing for you. Does anyone have any questions? All right, I'm glad you don't, because all I want you guys to do is to get moving. Just find some time to get moving, and please remember, look behind you, because that's about the tightest place on our bodies, because we don't have to use that backup camera anymore. Thank you for the invite. I hope that I've been helpful to you all, motivational. That's my goal, and I hope that we can come back again, and I hope that I can hear from you all with wanting to get moving.
Thank you, Angela, for coming and sharing today. Let's give her a round of applause. Now, did you all learn anything today? Praise God. That's what it's all about. Lindsay had to leave, right? Lindsay had to leave. She said that she would be leaving a little early because she came here to be with us. She has a husband at home who's taking care of for a 4-year-old, and a yard sale is going on. So I told her, I said, okay, you came equipped today to keep it moving. So with that said, let me say the workshops today, I pray, have been beneficial to you all. And our workshop presenters, I think that were dynamic today. And to conclude this part of the session, Sister Angela talked about moving as well as eating healthy. And at the conclusion, you know, we always usually have our bag, we have lunches that are prepared today, but we also have some healthy snacks in the back. And it's okay, Angela, don't squint. What was meant to be was meant to be. Angela had planned to prepare some healthy snacks to bring, and Myra and I just kind of volunteered to help. So you're covered. See, that's what God does for us. When we stress about stuff, God has our back. So Myra and I, we volunteered to help her with the healthy snacks. And what is prepared in the back today, we have Myra B's Spice Protein Breakfast Bar. Protein bars are healthy snacks since they provide quick protein and other nutrients to your body to replenish lost nutrients and to satisfy hunger. Your muscles need to be nourished like we do, and if they are too low in nutrition, they will start to cramp up and lose strength. This product includes a variety of nuts. So if there's anyone who has a nut allergy, you may not want to get a protein bar because there are several nuts in that, and she makes them herself. There is a cleansing smoothie that I make that I like to use, and we have just, you're able to sample, they're samples. So we prepared for about 50 people, and I think we have more samples than we need, so you can grab more than one. and it's an immune-boosting, gut-cleansing smoothie. The benefit of drinking carrot, apple, celery, and ginger juice is your morning bet on your sight, skin, and immune system. Ginger can cut down on fermentation, constipation, and other causes of bloating and intestinal gas. Ginger also contains antioxidants. These molecules help manage free radicals, which are compounds that can damage cells when their numbers grow too high. And this particular smoothie I sweeten it with stevia. Who doesn't want to make sure their eyes keep doing their job, their skin keeps glowing, and their body keeps viruses and harmful bacteria away while maintaining a clean and healthy gut? What a stress reliever. And the other item back there is the Medjool date. And these dates are very good. If you haven't tried them, you can eat 2 to 3 Medjool dates and for 130 calories and about 30 grams of sugar. Now that beats grabbing a cookie or a slice of cake any day. And a lot of times, you know, as we get older, sugar is the, you know, they'll tell us that's the next thing that we kind of go for as we kind of, I won't say age, but as we become a little more mature. So I hope that you all will get a sample of what's in the back, enjoy it, and I'm just praying that we're moving towards a healthier lifestyle. God bless you.
I don't know whether I'm an example of anything that was talked about in here today, but I thank the Lord that I am here and I'm able to stand here. I am not the pastor of this church, but I'm a good member that has been here for a bunch of years. And I am here to say to you, thanks so much for coming. Our pastor and a whole lot of other people right now, they are in Columbia. One of our bishops, who's about 102 years old or whatever, he's being funeralized today. So several of them are there. So I have been appointed to come to close us out. And I want to say to the Little River Medical Center, you know, it does my heart so much good when you are doing your presentations and whatnot. I have been on the board of directors of Little River Medical Center since Pam, I think, was about, since it started. You didn't have all these sites around and whatnot. And it has been my pleasure, and it has been so helpful to me to be involved in this kind of activity, and now in the church. So, we are going to close out, and Tressa has said to you that you will walk through this door over in our fellowship hall, and you will be given a healthy snack. And we pray that you will enjoy that healthy snack. So, maybe we can just stand and do our regular mitzvah, I guess. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. Amen. It was so good of you to come.